In the heart of a dense ancient forest, there lived a wicked old witch named Neka. Her heart was as dark as the shadows that clung to the towering trees. And her soul was as twisted as the gnarled roots that snaked beneath the forest floor. Neka was cursed with an insatiable greed, a hunger for power that could never be quenched. She yearned to control the destinies of others, to bend their lives to her will. Yet, her own powers were waning, her magic growing weaker with each passing day. Desperate to maintain her grip on power, Neka began to lure unsuspecting villagers into her treacherous forest domain. She would promise them riches and fortune, a life of ease and comfort, all in exchange for a small favor. A simple task that would require no more than a day's labor. The villagers, blinded by their own desires, would eagerly accept Neka's offer. They would toil tirelessly in her garden, chop wood for her hearth, and fetch her water from the hidden spring deep within the forest. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the villagers began to notice a disturbing change in themselves. Their once vibrant spirits dimmed, their laughter faded, and their dreams turned to dust. Their bodies grew weary, their minds clouded, and their hearts filled with despair. They had lost their destinies, stolen by the wicked Neka, who now reveled in their misfortune. Among the villagers was a young woman named Amma, a kind soul with a heart full of compassion. She watched in horror as her friends and neighbors fell into a state of perpetual misery, their lives spiraling into an abyss of darkness. One day, Amma decided to confront Neka. She ventured deep into the forest, her heart pounding with fear, but her resolve unwavering. She found the witch in her decrepit hut, surrounded by the spoils of her wicked deeds. "Why do you bring such suffering upon us?" Amma cried, her voice trembling with emotion. "What have we done to deserve such torment?" Neka cackled, her laughter echoing through the hut like the screech of an owl. "You fools have given me your destinies," she sneered. "You have surrendered your power to me, and now you shall pay the price." Amma's heart sank. She realized that Neka was not just wicked, she was also deeply delusional. The witch believed that she could control the lives of others. But in truth, she was merely a parasite, feeding off the misfortune she had created. "You are wrong, Neka," Amma said, her voice gaining strength. "Our destinies are not yours to take. They belong to us, and we will not allow you to steal them from us any longer." With a surge of determination, Amma reached out and touched Neka's hand. In that instant, a wave of energy flowed between them, a transfer of power from the witch to the young woman. Neka gasped, her eyes widening in terror. She felt her magic draining away, her strength fading, her life ebbing away. As her power dwindled, so did her control over the villagers' destinies. The villagers, who had been trapped in a state of misery for so long, began to stir. Their eyes regained their sparkle, their smiles returned, and their hopes rekindled. They had reclaimed their destinies, freed from the witch's clutches. Neka, weakened and defeated, collapsed to the floor, her life force extinguished. The forest, once shrouded in darkness, seemed to lighten, as if the weight of her evil had lifted. Amma, exhausted but triumphant, returned to the village, her heart filled with joy. She had freed her people from a curse, and in doing so, she had discovered her own inner strength. Years passed, and Neka grew even older and weaker. She was now completely dependent on the villagers for her survival. But the villagers, once so kind and compassionate, had grown bitter and resentful. They had seen the toll that Neka's magic had taken on their lives, and they no longer cared for her. One day, Neka fell ill. She was too weak to even get out of bed. She called out to the villagers for help, but they turned their backs on her. They had finally realized that Neka was the source of their misfortune, and they were determined to break free from her curse. Neka was left to die alone, her wicked schemes and insatiable hunger for power finally catching up with her. As she lay on her deathbed, she realized that her actions had brought her nothing but misery and isolation. She had stolen the destinies of others, but in doing so, she had lost her own. The villagers, once victims of Neka's wicked magic, began to rebuild their lives. They learned to cherish the simple things in life, the things that Neka had so carelessly taken away from them. They found joy in each other's company, and they learned to forgive those who had wronged them.